What's going on, guys? It's the story everyone is talking about, the news that broke and seemed to confirm everything we already knew about the Caitlin Clark effect. You saw the headlines, you saw the social media posts. Caitlin Clark, in just her second season, was officially named a team captain for the 2025 WNBA All-Star game. An incredible honor happening right in her home city of Indianapolis, a testament to her star power and the millions of new fans she's brought to the game. And on the surface, this looks like a massive win, a sign that the league is embracing its new megastar. But that's the surface story. That's the easy headline that other channels are happy to run with. We're not other channels. We dig deeper. Because what if I told you that behind that celebratory announcement is a story of shocking disrespect? A story of betrayal, even. What if I told you that the very players who share the court with Caitlin Clark, the players who are benefiting from the sold-out arenas and chartered flights she's responsible for, just sent her the clearest message possible? And it's not a message of respect. It's a message of humiliation. Because when you look past the headline and into the official voting numbers, a different, much darker picture emerges. And tonight, we're going to expose what really happened with that All-Star vote. We're going to show you the proof and break down how Caitlin Clark is reacting to being publicly betrayed by her peers. You're going to want to stick around for this one. All right, so let's get right into the hard data, because the numbers do not lie. The WNBA All-Star voting process is broken down into three different groups. You've got the fans, you've got the media, and you've got the players themselves. Each group's vote counts for a certain percentage of the final result. So let's start with the fans. This is where the Caitlin Clark effect is just undeniable. It's a force of nature. She didn't just get a lot of votes, she shattered the all-time record, pulling in nearly 1.3 million votes from the fans. It was a landslide. The fans, the people who buy the tickets, who watch the games, who are driving this new era for the league, they voted her as the #1 guard, period. No question. Next, you have the media vote. Now, these are the experts, right? The analysts and journalists who are paid to watch every single game and break down performance, not just hype. Even with her ups and downs this season, the media ranked Caitlin Clark as the third best guard in the entire league. That's an elite ranking that acknowledges her massive impact on the court. But then there's the player vote. This is where the happy story falls apart and the betrayal comes into focus. This is the vote from her peers, the women she competes against every night. And what did they say? They voted Caitlin Clark as the 9th. Let me repeat that, the 9th best guard in the WNBA. It's almost impossible to believe.
Number 1 with the fans, number 3 with the experts, but 9th with the very people who claim to represent the best of the best. This wasn't an accident. This was a message. Now, you might think, okay, maybe that's just one interpretation, but we're not the only ones who saw these numbers and immediately knew something was seriously wrong. When the voting breakdown was released, some of the biggest and most respected voices in the entire sports world sounded the alarm, and they were not quiet about it. Let's start with a certified legend, ESPN's Dick Vitale. He's seen it all in his career. He saw these numbers, and he didn't mince words. He went public and called it, and I'm quoting him directly, absolutely pure jealousy. He said there was no other explanation for why WNBA players would vote Caitlin Clark as the 9th best guard. He believes that one day, they'll realize what she has actually done for all the players in their league. And he's not alone. You've probably all seen the clip by now because it went viral all over again. NBA icon and analyst, Charles Barkley. He's been saying this for over a year now. He famously looked into the camera and called the WNBA players petty for how they were treating Clark. He said, and again, I'm quoting, "Y'all should be thanking that girl for getting y'all private charters, all the money and visibility she brings into the WNBA." When guys like Dick Vitale and Charles Barkley, two of the most influential voices in basketball media, are saying the exact same thing, you know this isn't just a fan theory. They're confirming what millions of us can see with our own eyes. This isn't about on-court performance. This is personal. This is about jealousy. Now, of course, the critics and the longtime WNBA fans who defend the establishment, they're going to jump in right here and say, hold on, this isn't about jealousy at all. This is strictly about performance. They'll argue that the players see her flaws up close and voted accordingly. And look, to be fair, we have to be honest about her season. This has not been a perfect sophomore campaign for Caitlin Clark. She has absolutely faced adversity. She was in the middle of a brutal shooting slump, reportedly missing 22 of her last 23 three-point attempts. That's a tough stretch for any player, let alone a superstar. And the turnover numbers are a legitimate concern. She's currently averaging 5.9 turnovers per game, a number that not only leads the entire WNBA, but is nearly double the rate of the next closest player. So yes, there are on-court struggles. Nobody's denying that. But does that justify a 9th place ranking from her peers? Not even close. And the proof is right there in the voting data we already talked about. Think about it. If her performance was truly so bad that she deserved to be ranked as the 9th best guard,
The experts saw the same turnovers, they saw the same shooting slump, and they still concluded she was the 3rd best guard in the league because they see the whole picture. They see the assists, the gravity she creates on the floor, and the winning plays. The players saw that same picture, and they chose to rank her 9th anyway. The media vote proves that this wasn't about stats. This was personal. So if the player vote wasn't truly about performance, then what was it about? To understand that, you have to realize that this All-Star snub isn't happening in a vacuum. It's a symptom of a much wider pattern of tension that seems to follow the Clark effect everywhere it goes, and that includes inside the Indiana Fever's very own locker room. For proof, you don't have to look any further than the recent, messy situation with veteran player DeWanna Bonner. Now, Bonner was a marquee free agent signing for the Fever, a big name who was supposed to come in and be a key piece of this rising team. But her time in Indiana was, to put it mildly, a complete disaster. It was brief, it was tumultuous, and it ended with the team abruptly waiving her. But why? Well, according to reports, the fit wasn't good from the beginning. The core of the issue was that Bonner was reportedly unhappy with being moved to a bench role, a role that was necessary as the team continues to build everything around Caitlin Clark. It got so bad that she apparently requested a trade and made it clear she had no interest in returning to play for the Fever. Think about that. A major veteran player comes to the team and leaves just a short time later, completely unhappy with her place in the new system. It's a powerful example of the internal friction that comes with rebuilding a team around a singular, generational superstar. It suggests that the resentment or jealousy seen in the All-Star vote might just be the public face of a much deeper, league-wide struggle to adapt to the new world order that Caitlin Clark created. All right, so we have to go one level deeper here, because there's an unspoken factor in all of this, an elephant in the room that you have to address if you want to understand the full story. The reality is, you cannot separate this player jealousy narrative from the very complex and sensitive dynamics of race and privilege inside the WNBA. Let's just be direct about it. Caitlin Clark is a white superstar in a league that is predominantly black, with reports showing the league is made up of approximately 70% black players. Because of this, the narrative has often been framed by some fans and media as the league's established black players being mean girls or haters who are simply jealous of the unprecedented attention a white player is receiving. But that's only one side of a very complicated coin. This situation has also sparked incredibly important and long overdue counter. It's highlighted the very real history of how the league's black stars have been historically undermarketed and have received unequal media coverage for decades. This isn't just a fan theory. Players have talked about it themselves. Just listen to Las Vegas Aces star Kelsey Plum, who is white. She has publicly stated that she received preferential treatment early in her career because she was, quote, straight and white, and she called it, quote, absolutely a problem in our league. When you understand this context, you realize the player vote is more than just a snub. It's a cultural flashpoint. It sits at the intersection of sports, media, and a much bigger, much more complicated societal conversation. The disrespect is real, but the reasons behind it are tangled up in years of history and legitimate frustration.
So we finally got an update on Caitlin Clark, man. We know she has been missing in action for the last couple games, and for her to speak to the media is big time. Now, news did break today that she will be a WNBA All-Star captain. She received 1.2 million votes, bruh, which is legendary in itself. Now, her and Stephanie White spoke to the media I'm done talking. Let's check out what they had to say. Check out Caitlin Clark doing shoot-around. Roll the footage.
Okay, so you hear her speaking, and on the surface, it's standard stuff. When she's asked about being a captain, she calls it a cool honor. When asked if she'll pick her teammates for her All-Star squad, she says, "Obviously, I'm going to try to get my teammates on my team. Why wouldn't I?" She's calm, she's professional, she's focused. But now, with the context that she knew her peers had just ranked her 9th, this isn't just a standard press conference. This is a strategic choice. She is actively refusing to take the bait. She doesn't acknowledge the controversy. She doesn't give the players who snubbed her the satisfaction of a public feud. Instead of feeding the drama, she talks about the honor. She talks about her city, and she talks about lifting up her teammates. While others are being petty, she's being a leader. By refusing to get into the mud with them, she rises above it all, which only makes the disrespect from the other players look even smaller and more pathetic. That is her reaction, and it's more powerful than any angry quote would ever be. So where does this leave us? This all-star vote, this great betrayal, it's about so much more than just a list of names. It's a snapshot of a league at a historic crossroads. The WNBA is currently facing a massive paradox. Its single greatest asset for growth, Caitlin Clark, is also the source of its most significant internal cultural challenge. On one hand, the Clark effect is undeniably driving unprecedented economic growth for the entire league. We're talking about record-breaking television ratings, sold-out arenas in every city, and the historic implementation of chartered flights for all teams. That growth is going to directly impact the next collective bargaining agreement, which is expected to lead to significantly higher salaries for every single player. And yet, on the other hand, you have this clear and undeniable resistance from some of the league's veteran players, a resistance that was put on full display with the 9th place vote. This creates a potential long-term cultural fault line for the WNBA. The entire future of the league truly hinges on its ability to navigate this tension. How do you promote a once-in-a-generation superstar without making the veteran players who built the league feel alienated or disrespected? It's a high-stakes balancing act, and every decision the league makes, from marketing campaigns to officiating, is now being scrutinized through this incredibly complex lens. This isn't just sports drama anymore. It's a battle for the soul and the future identity of the WNBA, and we are all watching it unfold in real time. But that's just our breakdown. We want to know what you think. Drop a comment below and let us know, was the players' all-star vote for Caitlin Clark a legitimate reflection of her performance, or was it, as Dick Vitale put it, pure jealousy? If you appreciate deep dives that go beyond the surface-level headlines, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. And finally, if you know someone who needs to understand the real story behind this controversy, do us a favor and share this video.